Hey, everybody. Let's go ahead. We talked about maybe skipping this homework, but because we squeezed in that chapter 4 review with those videos, it scared everybody. On Friday, we can go ahead and do this. We were just going to make sure we took care of that checkpoint problem, and I'll show you what makes that special. But this is 4.2.4, right? And we're going to go ahead and do all of them, right? Shouldn't take too long. A little review on ratios to start, and hopefully they'll help you, okay? So as we're doing this, let's just review the ratios and what ratios are, okay? All ratios they are a comparison of numbers. You're comparing two different numbers. Here I drew a bunch of dots and colored them. So I have I have 6 red dots, okay, and I have 4 blue dots and 2 green dots. Okay, that'll help us when we know that later. But you have to know there's 3 different ways of writing ratios besides writing it with words, okay, which always helps to simplify the sentence they're asking you down to the ratio with words first. And then I just put numbers above them and simplify when I get done. So in this first case, we're trying to figure out what is the ratio of blue dots to red dots, okay? And so first I write it in words. So I got blue dots and red dots, so it's blue to red. Then I go count. There are 4 blue and 6 red, so I write underneath 4 to 6. So that is the ratio of blue dots to red dots is 4 to 6. Now, you can also write it with this colon, and you would say this just like you did with the word, 4 to 6. And the third way to write it is like a fraction, with the first number goes above the second number, and you could still read it 4 to 6. Now, when you see it as a fraction like that, you might sort of get itchy and think, I can simplify that fraction, okay? And you'll want to do that with fractions. You will also want to do it with ratios, okay? If you can, go ahead and simplify it. So both of these are even, so 2 goes into the top and the bottom. 2 goes into 4 2 times and goes into 6 3 times. So the ratio can be written as 2 to 3. It can also be written as 2 to 3, or with the colon, 2 to 3. Now, when I did that, again, I was thinking blue and red, and I thought 2 went into, and check this out. I'm going to do pairs here. There's a pair, there's a pair, there's a pair, there's a pair, there's a pair. So how many pairs of blue dots are there? 2. How many pairs of red dots? 3. So 2 to 3. Let's see how we can do that. Okay? All right. Try these. Red to green. Well, first I wrote it in words, and then I go count. There are 6 red, and there are 2 green. So 6 to 2, and I could write it like this, 6 to 2, and I could write it like this. Now, when I go to simplify, if that was a fraction, you would just simplify it 3, right? When you simplify it with ratio, you want to actually write 3 to 1, okay? 3 to 1 or 3 to 1. And that makes it a special ratio. Whenever the second number or the bottom number is a 1, you would actually call the ratio a rate, okay? And that's wanted very often, okay? When you want to compare ratios, if you can make it a rate, then you have the same number on the bottom, and you're just comparing the top. So 4 to 1 is greater than 3 to 1, okay? All right, green to blue, there are 2 green. There are 4 blue, 2 to 4, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. When I have it like this, you want to simplify it to 1/2 or 1 to 2. 1 to 2, 1 to 2. Okay? Red dots to all. Now this gets tricky. There are 6 red dots. How many total? All the dots. There's 6, and 4 and 2 is another 6. So 6 to 12, or when I write it like this, I'm going to say 6 goes into the top once, it goes into 12 twice. 1 to 2. Okay, I know you want to still call that 1/2. We call ratios. You're comparing the top to the bottom. 1 to 2, 1 to 2, and 1 to 2. Okay? Hopefully that little review of ratios will help you. Now let's get to the homework. First question is 4-80. And we're talking about what? Ratios. Okay? So on this one, it says Richie and Bethany are playing basketball and practice shooting free throws. Okay, and during the practice, Richie attempted 15 and made 12. So Richie, we're going to say attempt, he tried, 15, made 12. Now, write a ratio comparing the number of free throws he made to the number that he missed. Now, they might be trying to trick you a little bit here, right? Because they wrote the problem. They told you how many he tried first and how many he made second. Now, in the question, they're saying how many did he make? And that's why it's really important, really helpful to simplify it in words first. Okay, so I want to say on A, the ratio of made to, and I'm going to say tried. Okay, now how many did he make? He made 12. He tried 15, so 12 to 15. You write it the other two ways and simplify it for me, okay? You do that. B, Bethany made 8 free throws. So 8 made. And for every 3 she missed. 3 missed. Now, this is another thing. We didn't talk about misses, right? Now, did Bethany do better than Richie? Show how you know. So if she made 8 and missed 3, how many total did she try? That means that she tried 3 plus 8, 11. So her ratio of makes to tried is 8 to 11. Now, how do we compare to see which one is more? Remember the other ways of writing it. One way looks like a fraction, and you can compare fractions, okay? So when you get to 12 to 15, you're going to compare that to 8 to 11. Now, I could simplify that, and that might help it, right? 3 goes into 12 4 times, goes into 15 5 times. So 4 to 5 compared to 8 to 11, okay, is what I'm comparing. I'm going to let you try that one, okay? And there's a couple different ways you can figure it out. I'm going to let you try it, okay? All right, next problem. Now, this next problem, it says checkpoint problem, 4-8. You see that big checkpoint there, that check mark? Okay, that means this is important. And if you read this, it'll tell you something important about these. These are really important ones you definitely want to know how to do, okay? Now, when I rewrite these problems, 5.5 plus 4 2/3, I'm going to go ahead and sort of cheat and write them vertically, okay? 1 5/6 plus 2 1/5. Hopefully you can still read that over that writing. Should probably move it this way a little bit. And that is a little hard to read when I look at the screen, so I'm not going to write over these dots to the next one. Okay, 9 1/3 minus 4 1/5 and 10 minus 8 2/3. Okay, and these look a little familiar. I'm starting to wonder, did we do these on a warm-up last week? Either way, check this out. Checkpoint 4-81. When I go in my book and go towards the back, there's a spot where they have checkpoint problems, right? And we're looking for checkpoint chapter 4-81. Here are the answers. Now, it's not just the answers, but it tells you how to get them. It shows you examples on what you're doing when you're adding with unlike denominators or subtracting. And then it goes through and it has 5.5 and 4 2/3. It has the exact problems, okay? So that's as much as I'm going to help you, because if you go look in the back of the book, everything's done for you. Okay, now in the follow-up video, I'll sort of explain the steps and show you. But go ahead and check that out, okay? Okay? All right. 4-82, if you've been doing our warm-ups, you're probably getting good at these, right? How long is that line? Segment. Remember, your teachers have been lying to you about lines since you were in kindergarten. Technically, a line goes on forever in both directions. So usually when we have an end of both, a right and left end of a line or top and bottom end, then it's really called a line segment, okay? So I have an x plus 1. I'm going to put the x's together. And x plus x is the same as 2 times x. And we're going to say in 8th grade, you just write that as 2x plus 1, okay? I'm going to have you try to do b. Okay. M plus M plus M plus 5. There's another way of writing M plus M plus M. And you're going to try to do C. Y plus 2 plus Y plus 2. Okay. You try that one. Now, all that's left is 483 and 484. 483. Let's get started on this one. Give you a little boost. So in parts A through C, refer to the previous problem. Okay, so this is just like our warm-up. You know, when first I had you write the expressions, and then the next part is now go back to that expression, and I'm going to say x equals 4. Go substitute. Well, they're doing the same thing here. We wrote 2x plus 1, and now they're saying pretend like x is 4.5. How long is that line? Well, I can go back and say 4.5 plus 1 plus 4.5. But I already have this done. I can go 2 times 4.5. Okay? So if my expression is 2x plus 1, and I'm going to write 4x equals 4 1/2. And I'm going to go what do I call this? Substitute. Okay, if x equals 4.5, I can substitute 4.5 for x. Okay, same thing on B. Now I'm going to pretend like m is 4. How long is the line? Well, plug it in, substitute. Y is 5.5. How long is that line segment? Okay, you go try it. All right, last problem, 4-84. I got 5 and 8/19, and they want me to make that into a mixed number. Your reminder on this is mixed number, improper fraction. Okay, C method. Remember, I make a giant C around it, and first I'm going 5 times 19 plus 8, and that goes on top. What goes on the bottom is the same thing was on the bottom when I started. Okay, so 5 times 19 plus 8. Okay, now B. Now I have an improper fraction, and I want to turn it into a mixed number. What do you do on that one? Hopefully you remember, divide the bottom into the top. Remember, your remainder is going to come on top. What's going to go on the bottom? An 8. It's going to be something in an 8, right? All right. If this is confusing, go watch the warm-up from last Friday. We did a whole bunch of these. Okay. Actually, it looks like we did some warm-up on that this morning too, huh? Okay. So go check those out. But I think you can do these, and then you're just going to come back and check your answers tomorrow. Okay. Or if you get stuck, ask your teacher in an afternoon Zoom. Okay. All right, everybody. Hopefully this one worked.